You're listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. I'm your host, Heather Angel, and I've been helping people tune into what lights them up and increase their personal and professional performance for over a decade. Now I'm best known as a high-performance coach helping entrepreneurs like you cut through the noise and create a business and life on your terms. If you're ready to step out of struggle and discover how simple it can be to create a fulfilling, joyful, and successful business without all the overwhelm and long hours, you're in the right place.
Hey gorgeous, how are you? How was the first week of January for you? This episode is basically a reflection of what has probably been the craziest week. Oh my god, the world's gone nuts, hasn't it? Just lockdowns and everything going on in the US. I know I've got people listening to this from all over the world, but holy moly, in the UK it is a bonkers time. That's the most polite way I can put it. Oh my goodness. So well done for surviving the first week. That's first and foremost. Today's episode, I really want to talk to you about how you are. How are you feeling? How are you planning on navigating the coming weeks? Because the outer world does not look like it has any intention of calming down and becoming a bit of a smoother ride. Everything is very bumpy, everything is a bit chaotic, and if you tune into mainstream media, or even if you're just scrolling through Facebook and social media, honestly, you think the sky is falling right now. And I'm speaking primarily for the UK, but I know my friends in the US, you're having a similar situation. So it's all a bit crazy, and we need to make sure we're taking really good care of ourselves so that we can take care of our clients and our customers. And this is, as I said, a little bit of a reflection on something I really needed to retune back into. Is the whole of last week, I got completely consumed by anger. Honestly, I was in a rage most of the time. The second I heard the news come on the radio, every time I saw something on Instagram about lockdown and families not being able to feed their children and the absolute poverty that people are being put into by lockdown, the effect on businesses, all the things, all the things. Oh my gosh, the rage. I couldn't contain it. I was so angry. I've been working out like a lunatic all week and trying to vent it somehow. And after a conversation with my homeopathy lady and my coach, and also reflecting on what comes through from my Reiki practitioner, because I do all the things, okay? all the things to take care of myself. The one thing that really came through was about prioritization. Now, this is really, really interesting, because once I'd had those conversations with those people and I'd kind of reflected on how I was showing up and behaving that week, I saw it in so many other people. I saw so many others struggle to focus on the right priority. And I'm not saying right as in right or wrong or, the correct one, but the right one for them. The one that was actually going to serve them in the best way, serve their businesses in the best way. And I know that, my gosh, there are so many of you that are parents that listen to my podcast. And if you are in the UK, you've been thrown back into homeschooling, which, I home educate, but homeschooling with all that pressure from the schools as well. It's so stressful. And you're trying to work, you're trying to run your business, you're trying to take care of the kids, the emotional strain, because the weather's pants, so it's not like we're all out in the garden like we were during the first lockdown, where it's beautiful sunny weather, or at least being able to go to parks and spend some time outside. I know the pressure is really, really high right now, or it certainly was last week. It does feel like it's easing off a little bit as we kind of adapt, but the pressure is still there. And my message to you, this is almost like a big virtual hug through your headphones from me to you, just to say that you need to prioritize yourself, which is a really tricky thing, whether you've got kids or not, or however you're, navigating this time. If you don't prioritize yourself through self-care, through self-love, through patience, through giving yourself some grace to allow yourself to navigate this difficult time, you can't serve and show up for anyone else. And I was 100% guilty of doing that last week. I was not prioritising my own self-care, my own mental health. I was struggling last week. I was, like I said, I was just in a rage the whole freaking time. I was like, I just want to tear government down. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't bear it. But what I realised is that I was then focusing all my energy there rather than focusing it on my business, rather than focusing it on what I needed. I was giving loads of my energy to my children, obviously, because they desperately need my love and attention at the moment. They're really struggling. Their mental health is struggling with lockdown, and I know so many other children are as well. And it's a difficult time. It's a really difficult time. And what I've realised, and what's become really apparent towards the end of last week, is that when we take our time to prioritise ourselves and actually tune into what we need, block out all the noise from the outer world, because we cannot control what's going on in the outer world at all. When we can block that out and actually tune into what we need and give ourselves permission to allow ourselves to have whatever comes through that we need, then everything calms down. Everything just softens a little bit. The rage, for me, it was definitely a rage thing. It's gone. It's dissipated, and that's definitely through the help of my coach. And I do have a homeopathy lady who just helps me with all kinds of things. But you need to tune in to what you need, and you need to give yourself permission and grace to maybe reduce the expectations on yourself. Because all we can do as business owners is show up as our best selves on the day and serve our customers in the best possible way. So my focus has completely shifted. One of the things I've done actually is I've taken Instagram off my phone. I love Instagram far too much, and I spend way too much time on there. I'm on the DMs most of the time just talking to people, and I really need to stop doing that as much. So now Instagram is not on my phone, but it means that I can give Instagram focused time, productive time, where I can be on my DMs when I'm at my desktop, speaking to you lovely lot, having conversations, answering your questions. Great, that's fine, that's perfect. But what I found myself doing is any second I had a free moment, I'd go on Instagram and see what was happening in the world. I would check my DMs, I would message people, I would just be on there using the platform. And that's not actually, giving me anything back. That's taking me away from focusing on the work that I needed to do. So that was one of the things I've done. I've also created a self-care plan. Now, this is something I would love for you to do. Self-care does not have to be anything hugely time-consuming. Self-care for you might be just committing to eating a bit better. If you sort of really struggled last week and it's been a little bit more of the chocolate crisps and wine situation, which zero judgment, absolutely no judgment for that. But if that's where your emotions took you, perhaps your recommitment to healthier food choices and maybe a little less alcohol for the coming weeks, that's the way you take care of yourself. It might be that you give yourself time off, like actual time off. And again, I am not pretending that I'm good at that. I'm rubbish, actually, at taking time off. I worked Christmas Day. Shh. I actually forgot that I worked Christmas Day because I went and did a load of online shopping. And then I was like, oh yeah, no, I forgot. I did do a load of emails, and I started doing bits and pieces. I can't help it. I'm terrible. I like my job. I love my work, so I end up doing it all the time. However, on Saturday, on the weekend just gone, I took the whole day off. The whole day. I did not turn my laptop on once, which genuinely is just unheard of. So that made me feel amazing. I've had so much more energy just by taking a whole day off. I watched TV. I never watched TV. It was nice. It was good. So what can you do to give yourself permission to have whatever it is that you need right now to take care of you? Because if you're a parent listening to this, you have got to take care of yourself, because how on earth can you nurture and take care of those gorgeous kids of yours who will be going through all kinds of, emotional upset, the same as you are, because it is a very challenging time. You can't pour from an empty cup. You know that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to keep your cup full to make sure that you have more to give. And it's exactly the same for you lovely business owners. As business owners, we have a responsibility to serve our clients and take really good care of them. And again, we can't do that if we're depleted, if we're distracted, if we're not taking care of ourselves. How can we take care of our clients? So my little message and my little hug through the airwaves to you today is give yourself permission to take care of yourself. Come up with a self-care plan. Just list out all the things that are really lush for you. You know, all the nice things that make you feel nice. Maybe it's taking time to read. Maybe it's having a bath. Maybe it's going for a run. Maybe it's exercise. Whatever these things are for you, list them all out and think, well, how can I incorporate at least one of those every single day? Okay, I'm not telling you some long morning routine or anything like that. I'm just saying, what could you do to have a really good day and take really good care of yourself? What else would you do? One thing a day, just one thing from that list. So that's what I would love you to do. That's your little bit of homework, if you like, if you're listening to this. No point listening to this for 10 minutes if you're not going to take any action on it, okay? So come up with a self-care plan. One thing that you can do each day that just helps fill your cup back up. And do you know what? If that is sitting on the sofa watching something on Netflix for an hour, then give yourself permission to do it. Okay, there's no judgment. This doesn't have to be, journaling or meditating or any of the and I'm going to put this in brackets, the good things, the personal development things. This could be just totally chilling out. Whatever self-care looks like to you, please give yourself permission to incorporate it every single day to make sure that you are at the very best you can be, because that's what your clients need. That's what our audience need. I didn't show up in the way I wanted to last week because I was distracted AF. So distracted. But I'm back on track. And you know what? I have no judgment on myself. This is another thing. If you're feeling a bit similar, if you've really struggled with, not being as focused as you wanted to because outside events have taken you off track a little bit, don't judge yourself for that. You're human. We are all human going through human experience, and we are going to make mistakes. We are going to do things in not necessarily the best way, even though when we know that we're doing things. I knew I was getting distracted. I knew I needed to refocus my energy, but I just didn't. But now we know better. We can do better, right? So don't beat yourself up if you've had a bit of a pants first week of January, because I think most of us have. So don't worry about it. Start again. Start afresh. Line in the sand. What are you going to do differently this week to show up with more energy, more compassion? Because remember, everyone's going through this differently. More love, more compassion, more energy, more focus. And you can do that by taking care of yourself. So I will be on Instagram, but just slightly less. So you can, please still do DM me. I do genuinely love having conversations with you. I will just be a little bit more focused around the time I spend on that platform and not be on it every second of every day. So send me a message. We will have a chat. Let me know what the self-care options are going to be for you, and have an amazing, amazing week.
Thank you for listening to the Focused and Fearless podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation or have a question that you would like answered in an upcoming episode, head over to Instagram and connect with me at Heather Angel Coaching. If you enjoy this podcast, please share your thoughts in a review on iTunes. I truly value your feedback, and I take the time to read every single review. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you in the next episode.